everybody, it's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio here today to show you how to make the front panel of my Purcell pillow. I have taken a little section of the graph for the front panel and placed it right here so that we're going to work through this little graph so that I can show you all the skills you'll need in order to make the front panel of the pillow. So we're going to start with our yarn that we're using here is We Crochet Brava worsted, and it is a worsted weight premium acrylic. This is the color Canary. You'll start by putting a slip knot on your size I crochet hook and chain 6. All right, and then you are going to yarn over. You're going to kind of turn your chain so that you can work into the ridges on the bottom of the chains. And in the last 3 chains, you're going to place a double crochet stitch. All right, this represents the first tile. This chain 3 and 3 double crochets is what is represented by this first box at the bottom right. And this first tile is also our first row because the first row only has 1 tile in it. The one here is placed next to where row 1 begins, so that's this tile. And this also represents the right side of our project, so that's going to be important to remember. Okay, our next row begins down here with a white box. So I actually need to go back just a bit to where I have the 2 loops of this last double crochet stitch left on my hook. I'm going to leave this yarn I'm not using to the wrong side, which is here, and I'm going to place a loop of my white on my hook. So I want to make sure I leave my end at least 4 inches long, and with that white on my hook, I'm going to pull that through those 2 loops to make the color change. And then I am going to leave the tail to the wrong side of my work and turn and chain 6. Yarn over, and then in the last 3 chains in those bottom ridges, I'm going to put a double crochet stitch. Okay, now this is the square I just did. Now in C2C, your rows travel diagonally across your graph. So this is a square I just did. Now I'm doing this one, the white box. Okay, so I don't need to change colors. So now in between this double crochet stitch and this chain 3, I'm going to place my hook and I'm going to work a slip stitch here. Then I will chain 3, and I'm making the second tile in row 2 now, and I will put 3 double crochet stitches around this chain 3. Okay, and I'm just about to start row 3, which my 3 is right next to the first box in row 3, so that's this one, and I'm going diagonally, so I'll do this one, and this one, and they're all white. So I'm going to go ahead and turn and chain 6. I won't need to change colors on this row. And then I'll do my 3 double crochet stitches. Sorry, my dog's making noise in the background. Please forgive that. You'd think she'd choose to be quiet, but she's chewing on a bone. We're like right next to me on the floor, of course. Okay. So that is my first tile in row 3, and then I do my slip stitch right here. Looks like maybe the dog has settled down now, so hopefully she'll be quiet for the rest of this. And then slip stitch in between the double crochet and the chain 3 here. And chain 3. And 3 double crochets around the chain 3. All right, so I did row 3, which was here, here, and here. Now I'm starting row 4. This first box is actually going to be yellow, and forgive the brown on my graph. My ink cartridge, my color ink cartridge is about dead. But anyhow, so I'm going to have a color change right here. So I just finished this white box, but I actually need to rip back just a little bit to here. And I am looking at the right side of my piece. I can tell because I'm seeing the right side of my first tile. So I'll leave this white to the back. And I need to pick up my yellow, which is down here. I'm going to tighten that up just a smidge. And then that is going to travel up the side of my piece here. You want to be sure you don't make it too tight because you see how that's going to bend up your piece. You need to make sure that it's a little on the loose side. I might even loosen it a bit more. Okay, and then you can turn your piece and do your chain 6. And there we go. And then I do my slip stitch here. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm doing row 4. My first 2 boxes are yellow and my next 2 are white. So I'll go ahead and chain 3 in the yellow. Okay, so right here is where I'm going to make that color change. I am looking at the wrong side, so I'll leave my tail or my working yarn to this side, and I will pick up my white, and making sure it's not too tight, I will pull that through those 2 loops and do my slip stitch in the white. Okay, and then I'll chain 3 and finish the last 2 tiles of this row. Sorry, I've got kind of a tangle here. You'll find that working in C2C stitch is kind of tangly when you are doing color work. If you're doing it all in one color, it's not tangly, but it's actually not just even C2C stitch, but anytime you are doing color work, you're going to get tangly and have to stop and untangle things once in a while. Okay, so I did row 4, and that brought us up to here, which brought us to the corner. Now, this is good because this is one of the other things I need to show you is how to work your corners. I'll go ahead and turn, and I'm looking at the right side again. If I chain 6 here to do my next box, I'm going to wind up making another box up here, and I actually don't want that. So what I'm going to do here instead is chain 1, and I'm going to slip stitch across the side of this box in each of the 3 double crochet stitches so that I need to place a square right here, which is going to be a yellow one. Okay, if I were not changing colors here, I would go ahead and slip stitch right here in between my double crochet and my chain 3, and then I would chain 3 and make a tile here. But because I also need to do a color change right here, I'm going to pull out that last slip stitch I did, the one between the chain 3 and the double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and put my hook through that space, But this is where I have to make my color change when I'm changing between two edge boxes after I begin decreasing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my yellow and make sure that it's not too tight, and I'm going to pull through that space and through my loop, and then I will chain 3. When you start decreasing, you chain 3 on the side instead of 6. And then I'm going to make my 3 double crochet stitches around this chain 3. Oops, I missed a strand there. Okay. Okay, so I've made this tile, and all the tiles in row 5 are going to be yellow. So I'll slip stitch here and chain 3. And slip stitch here and chain 3, and my 3 double crochet stitches around this chain 3. And then my slip stitch over here between the chain 3 and double crochet and chain 3, and then I will put my 3 double crochet stitches around this chain 3. Okay, I finished row 5, which was going diagonally this way, and now I'm at a corner box again, and look at this. My next square is going to be this one, the beginning of row 6, and it's white, so I have that color change again. But what is important right now is that I'm turning a corner, so I don't want to chain 6 here. I want to chain 1 and slip stitch across the side of this tile. So in each double crochet stitch, I slip stitch. And then because I have to make that color change again, I'll go through here. Well, actually, before I do that, this is kind of weird because I'm looking at the wrong side now, and I don't want to go through here and then pull my yarn to the wrong side. I'm going to actually go ahead and bring my yarn to the wrong side before I put this through the space. Okay, and then I need my, sorry, I'm trying not to tangle things up here. I need, well, no, I do want to put this down. Okay, I'm going to bring my white over here now, and I'm going to make sure I don't have it too tight. And I'm going to pull that through here and through here and chain 3 to do the first box in row 6. Now my first box in row 6 is white, the next 2 are yellow. So I'm also going to actually, this is kind of wonky when you do this color change here. I think I'm going to crochet over this white float to help hold it out of the way so it doesn't wind up showing on the front side. Okay, now I am undoing tangles. I've just about run out of my yellow here, so I'm actually just going to cut this off, leaving my end, and just start pulling from this skein here. Okay, now I have to do a color change again, so I'm going to put my white working yarn to the back and place a loop of yellow over my hook, pull that through, and then go through to make my slip stitch here. Make sure I leave the yellow tail on the back, or I should say on the wrong side. It's looking at me right now, so it's not really the back, but on the wrong side. Okay, and then I will do my next 2 boxes of this row in yellow. Sorry, my dog's being noisy again. She's chewing a bone next to me on the floor. Okay, and then my slip stitch here. And then I chain 3 and do my 3 double crochet stitches. And I place my slip stitch here. Got like a tiny piece of hair in there. Okay, and then I'm going to do my chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to slip stitch across the side of this tile that I just finished. And I'm going to check and see if I have a color change here. Let's see, I did 6, and I do have a color change. The first tile in row 7 is white. So I'll go ahead and put my hook through this space. I'll leave my yellow to the wrong side and find my white. I want to make sure it's not too tight, and I'll pull it through, and then I'll chain 3 to begin row 7. And row 7 is this box and this one, so they're both white. In fact, I only have 3 tiles left and they're all white. So since I'm done with color changes, actually I can go ahead and cut off what's left of my yellow so I'm not dealing with tangles. All right, so I did my chain 3, and now I'm going to crochet over some ends here while I do my 3 double crochet stitches around this chain 3. And then my slip stitch and chain 3. I have a yarn knot here that keeps getting in my way. And I'll slip stitch here. I'm going to chain 1 and turn and slip stitch across the edge of this tile that I just did. And in between the chain 3 and the double crochet. Okay, and last tile, 1, 2, 3 chains and my 3 double crochet stitches. Sorry, I gotta undo my knot here. I'm at like the very, very end of a skein of white, and so the like tangled up mess is keeps getting in my way. Okay, and then I do my slip stitch here, and I'll turn and chain 1. Now, you don't just have to slip stitch across the edge of this last one because, you know, I'm not doing any more tiles after this, but I feel like my piece looks a little more consistent if I go ahead and slip stitch across the edge of this one, just like I did all the others. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch across the edge of it, and then I'm done. So then leave your end at least 4 to 6 inches long when you cut it, and then pull all the way through, and you have finished the front of your pillow. I mean, this is like a tiny little piece, but I was able to show you all the skills you need in order to make the front of the Purcell pillow, and really all the skills you need to make almost any C2C pattern. So here's my back. It's messy. That's okay, because this is a pillow. All that mess is going to go inside your pillow and no one's ever going to see it. Also, when you are making your pillow, you're going to make a second panel all in canary, like this one, which is the yellow, that canary. And then you're going to, these are not the same size, but imagine with me that they were. You are going to put your 2 panels together with all those ends on the inside, and you're going to single crochet through both pieces, through the edge of both pieces all the way around. And then when you have just one side left open, you're going to put your pillow insert inside of it, and then you'll single crochet across that edge to finish it up. So anyway, that's just kind of briefly explaining how you're going to put your pillow together when you have both panels finished. So there you go. That is how you make the front panel of the Purcell pillow. And I hope this has been helpful to you. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my newsletter so you'll always find out about my latest. And you can always find my latest at bananamoonstudio.com. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.